Yeah. That's the fun of the meeting.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Conservation Board meeting for April 18th. We have 3 projects to review. Right, I'm the chairman of the Conservation Board, Keith Paris. We have Matt Matheson on my right, Tim Norman, and Andrew Phillips there, and then we have you met earlier that's the town board liaison. We are a advisory committee to the planning board. We don't make decisions, but our role is to review projects that have been submitted, looking at any disruption or how it would impact the environment, conservation, pay attention to conservation easements, pay attention to if it would have a neighbors, stuff like that, traffic, that kind of stuff. And with that, we would either give you some comments right away, or we tell you we get back to you. But we usually send comments back to the planning board for their review, and they take that in consideration when they're making their final decision. Right. We have you here tonight. You're the first person on our agenda. So floor is yours.
Just coming before you guys, know it was mandatory, but I want to be here through the whole thing in case there is any questions. I don't know, like you guys said, I'm probably one of the first ones that's actually submitted this type of stuff before you.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of buying this lot. There was a lot, not necessarily restrictions, but there is the easement, which we are very, we've paid close attention to, and not disrupting any of the natural characteristics of the land. That's why we really wanted it. So my main thing is showing you my layout as far as, our families, or what we want to do for a house, a pole barn, and how to make that fit on such rolling landscapes without disrupting a lot of that to keep the natural characteristics.
So we do get the packets ahead of time, so I think probably all at least had a chance to review it a little bit. So I was looking, so you've got, looks like the house, you want to do phase 1 house and then the other house too? Or
House.
No, the plan would really to be a lot of it to do all this at the same time.
all at the same time, okay, the separate garage.
Yes, the main plan, which I would like to do, which I had to apply for a variance for, is the fact that the pole barn there is in front of the house. But there really is, based off the way the land is, there's really nowhere else to put it. Originally, we were looking in the far northeast corner, but because there's about a 20-foot drop off there, we actually had to move a lot of earth to flatten it all out to put that there, which would mean knocking out the hill in front of the house where we want to build. And we don't want to get rid of that either. So we moved it over to there because it actually runs between the valley of the 2 hills as you're running up, and it's kind of tucked behind the front hill from the road a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that. So it's in a valley, right? Drop.
Yeah, there's the hill in the front. Yep. And then it drops off, then it flattens out. There's a little bit of a grade going up there. That's where the valley between the 2 hills are, and it goes through and up and around. It flattens out on that side, on the west side of the land, levels out.
And the easement is outside of the dotted line
Outside
that
of
we
the
see?
dotted line, yes.
Yep, okay.
Yep, that's what I thought.
I think it was gray on ours, but it was a little hard to read.
What are you doing for, is there, I assume, what are they doing for like erosion control on that slope around the garage? Big steep there.
Good question. I would have to ask them that.
And then my other question was about, so you've got where the pole barn is gonna be, looks like it drops right off next to that. Do they have to flatten it, build that? What do they need to do to
They would have
be
to
able to
build
put that
up the south side, the lower side.
Okay.
We'd have to build that up a little bit.
I saw it was like a,
Yeah,
yeah, I saw it was like a no-touch easement, so I was wondering how they're gonna build that so close to there without,
oh,
Getting into the
on
easement.
West side,
yeah,
the west side is relatively flat right there.
okay,
If anything's gotta be built up, it's more on the front, the southeast side of the, at the base of the hill there.
okay.
So you're cutting, you're bringing fill in, right? Or you're gonna fill that up?
We had to fill that up a little bit.
You
Yeah.
use that from your house?
Yes.
And you don't have final approval for this yet? This is like your first sketch, or where are you in this process? So you guys already know, I'm sorry. Or is this the first time
This is the first time I brought this before the board.
Okay.
And what kind of material are you using for backfill? What is the material on that lot there? It's sand, gravel
Backfill for,
the barn at the bottom. You say you're gonna take from soil from the excavation of the plot for the house.
Yep.
And backfill by the barn.
yes,
What type of soil is that? Do you know?
I do not. I would have to ask.
That would just be for settling and drainage.
Yes,
in the
yep,
rest of the
yep.
land.
So your leach field there,
Yes,
obviously it's probably your whole placement, testing, all that, that's what drove
yes, yeah,
the
yeah, that's where.
a third in, well, not even a sixth in and 5/6 out, so.
Okay,
I'm just curious if that could come in a little bit, or. I mean, another question is for the board, for us, we have. The language is written such that we can have a septic, right? We write that in?
I saw it's in the easement, you mean, or
Yeah.
on the lot itself?
On the easement. Well, yeah, the easement.
I looked at the easement, but not specifically for that. I know it's no touch, but it's must allow for.
I would assume it did. I remember talking about it.
yeah, that was one, did you do the walk? When we walked the land?
I walked it,
Yeah. So that was one of the things we talked about with septic, and
Yeah.
it was okay if it was partially in the easement.
Okay.
Do you want these?
Okay,
Sure, yeah, that would help.
Try not to intrude.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, thank you. I can check.
So the boundaries of the conservation easement will need to be marked.
Yeah.
So, I think it's, for the most part, pretty long, straight lines, which makes things easier versus, having to,
Who marks them? But there's marks out there right now, there's sticks out there right now marking everything out.
so, I'm not sure who actually does it, but the code requires,
You build it.
Usually builder.
Surveyor will work with the builder.
Okay, all
Put
right.
them out there.
And are you familiar with the easements? So this one is, I think, no touch. So you are, okay.
yeah.
So anything beyond, so you'll mow that straight line and then no mowing, nothing happens beyond that.
Right.
At all. And then on the sides of the driveway, it's kind of the same thing.
Yep.
Your intent is just let the grasses grow or
Right,
whatever.
I think you had said when we did a walkthrough, once or twice a
You do
year,
seasonal?
we were allowed to knock it down.
That's what I'm reading through right now. So yeah, wells and septic is an exception. It's in here. Yep, that's 8B.
You have a well? It's a drill well.
We're gonna need to drill a well.
Where's that going? Or have you tested yet?
We haven't tested, but we have a good feeling that it's gonna be behind the house. Almost dead center. Back,
In the non-easement, not that it matters, but
yes,
where's the box for the septic? Is it anything? Or the tank, I guess. It's right there. Just want to make sure it wasn't close to the conservation and have to take it out.
That going up.
that's construction.
That's going up. Yeah, I didn't hardly reach it. Maybe it's down.
Yeah, it's
It looks like it's like where the V is.
Heck of a thing, you know.
Looks like it's on the left side of the hill right there, right? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, over by
Nice.
like 837,
Yes.
838,
Yeah.
3. It looks like you had a couple. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's another one right up there
Yeah.
near the S house, yes.
So a couple of things, I think you should definitely get a copy of the easement, so you've got it, because this lays out exactly what you can and can't do, so you want to make sure you know that going in. It does allow for seasonal mowing, a couple times a year annually, it says, so, yeah. And then, the other thing I was thinking of is no changes to the topography of the land. So again, I'm just thinking like, especially any of the buildings that are close to the easement, right? So they can't come in and take any of that down, build any of that up. I mean, so when you're right there against the edge of the lot line, if it's not perfectly flat, they can't go into it to build it up.
Right, yep.
So, cool, okay. That's all I noticed that I thought maybe, be aware of. It's there
Yeah,
for you.
it's kind of short trying to lay something out there, with the easement and stuff, so.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like yourself.
And we said that we walked it, like, oh my God, with all these hills, how the heck are you gonna put something flat in the middle of these hills, but.
Yeah, you did a good job, I think, laying everything out. A lot of constraints, as you mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
What's your schedule or looking?
We were hoping, I wanted to get this going now. I mean, we'd love to get something started this summer. But maybe within a year. So the ultimate goal, which was the question, was I'd love to be able to do everything at one time, between the barn and the houses, but try to get the framing and the roof and the side of the walls up on the pole barn to be able to house all the materials for everything for the build of the house. The way things are nowadays, I don't want to leave all this material laying outside out in the middle of nowhere like that. So, yeah.
That's how they always used to do it, right? Put the barn up first, put everything in the barn, build the house after that, yeah. Yeah, it was like stamp future, potential future or something, that's proposed future, that's why I was wondering if you were doing it all at once, you know what I'm referring to?
I think that's
On the bridge. Is it the leach field?
Is that what that is? Yeah, future expansion.
Yeah, expansions.
I think that sells for the leach field.
Maybe when the in-laws get in and you might need a little
Yeah.
more.
That's what they were leaving it for, okay, I was thinking different buildings. So, there you go.
What's there? This is all on field right now. I know we walked.
Yeah, I'm the only one that knows it.
All right,
It's no trees, no.
last summer.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right, last summer. Yeah. Was it last summer or 2 summers ago? we walked it? Was it two?
It may have been.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've been back and forth multiple times with people here talking, asking questions, just to double check, triple check things, so.
I think the only comment I would have is really moving back to the erosion control. Just making sure you have proper erosion control around the
Pole barn.
pole barn, especially around the conservation easement. Make sure we're not losing.
Yeah, I made a note of that, so I'll check into that.
Okay.
And I also did the pole barn up to the maximum size. I may not go that big, but I was told to go the maximum size you would want to go, because it's harder to say, I want to do a 20 by 20, then you want to go bigger down the road. You're supposed to go bigger and then you end up building smaller, so.
Gotcha. Yep.
And then the only question I would have is, things we're looking at, with all the grading being done, I'd like to have a pool put in it too, trying to do that all at the same time instead of building the houses, getting all the grading done, laying seed down, and then a year from now, bringing a pool in and turning everything back up again. Is that something that would have to be implemented onto this?
Yeah.
I think it should be put as a proposed future, so at least it's captured.
Okay.
So that when you revisit it, it's not a new item, it's just if I know I'm ready to do it.
You'll have, just speaking from experience, we did something similar. You'll have to, it's 2 different permits. At least that's how I had to do it. Because it was built at the same time. Correct. Yep.
Well, would I do that during one of the other planning board meetings, or would they do that when I actually apply for the permit for the build?
I don't know the answer. My suggestion is bring it up to, have the conversation earlier,
Right.
because end up waiting, that's fine, but it's hard to try to shoot more anything.
And I know this is more the conservation. part,
Yeah.
but-
So yeah, I think, whoever you're working with, on the planning board, maybe Lisa or.
That would be me.
Okay.
It would be easier if you put the pool on.
Proposed
On the-
future, yeah,
okay.
on the site plan.
It'd be easier for you if you know you're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the barn going as big with the barn, and then if we don't end up doing it, we don't end up doing it, at least it's on there. Okay,
You would do a building permit for the house, a building permit for the barn, and a building permit for the pool.
okay. Perfect.
Cool. Do you have any other questions for us?
You do not, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Oh, we've had some. Like, probably like get grills.
No, not at all. I mean, I want to make sure we're doing everything right. Like I said, we love the land and the way it's laid out and what it looks like. And we don't want to change anything. We don't have to, so.
Big project. Cool. project.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only other thought, just for you to think through is how you want to mark those boundaries of the easement. We do allow, forgot the exact language, but natural, permanent marking, so it could be a tree or a rock or something versus a 4x4 post.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, there's-
depending on the land where you wanted it, it needs to be marked, but there could be more aesthetically pleasing ways for you to
Okay,
mark it. So
perfect.
Something to think about.
See, and I was under the impression it had to be a 4x4 post. That had to be there, so. I mean,
Typically,
if you
it
do
is.
something with a rock or.
Does the post go next to it? Or is there a post next to it, or should there have to be a plaque on it, right?
Yeah, there's a little placard that goes on. You get those from the town office here. And then it's
If you-
a
I mean, we've seen folks use rocks and.
If you
Yeah.
use a big rock, you have to get a little thing put on it. So
Put it on the rock, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's tree, just have something to attach to the tree. Yeah. Okay. Great.
something legible that people can do that exactly, except for the 4x4 posts. Anything else you use have to have some sort of marker so they can do that. That is intended to be a marker.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Then you probably need a variance for the pole barn being
Yes.
forward of the house, you know that.
I applied to that.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure you're asking the question, what else? We don't want to get caught by something that you didn't
Right.
know
I don't want
that
to
you
be caught.
needed that, right? Okay, good.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. And again, they're a great resource downstairs, the building and planning department. Any of your questions, please feel free.
Oh, you guys have been great with answering all my questions over the last year and a half. Hey, Lisa.
Right, absolutely.
Lisa's gonna be your best friend.
She kind of is already.
I know.
Amber and I are getting well acquainted too.
There you go. Then you got all your bases covered.
So based on that, I don't think we have any other concerns at this time.
Okay.
So we basically let the planning board know that we will be with the project based on the information provided.
Awesome.
So cool.
Appreciate it.
If you have any questions,
Thank you.
feel free to reach your best friend.
I'll email you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much.
You can stay, but it'd probably be boring. So up to you.
That will be good. I will let you guys go. I don't want to make you guys feel uncomfortable because if actually shows up, right? Thank you very much. everybody.
Thanks for coming. Okay.
I don't know if you want this back.
Do you have the easement?
You know, I don't think I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're
All
welcome.
right, have a good night.
You too.
Next one.
Okay, the next one we have is pool ban. Applicant is requesting approval to construct a 20 pool ban with a 720 square foot covered space. But somewhere in there, I see where they have pulled back the covering. There's a mix of the projects.
This one, there was an overhang.
Right.
That's, yeah.
So they pull up because of the size. That mix of the project.
You mean why it had to go?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I
they
think.
backed off the overhang? They got rid of it?
See.
I don't see.
Hand drop sort of one.
Well, you haven't.
Four hundred square foot pole barn and 720 covered space.
Right, so we go back on the be a different project then.
Could be the Davis pole barn.
Right.
Let me do this one.
One's on the right side of the, oh, yeah, it's the side. Right? Yeah,
We can do this. Not doing that one?
Yeah, full edition, we're not doing it full edition.
oh, we're not?
No.
That was, sorry.
I decided to use it. You like these.
Thank you.
And so I, in reviewing this, I didn't really see, the barn is in front of the house, I think, so. Not for us, but they'll probably do that.
Yeah.
It's a fairly long, narrow spot. I think it's fairly wooded too in the pictures,
Yeah,
so there'd probably be some tree removal. But I think they have 8 or 9 acres or something.
yeah, 8 acres. Like you said, that kind of odd, very long skinny lot, yeah, I mean, tree removal for the actual pole barn and then tree removal trying to get in and out of the area just to do the construction itself.
Yeah,
Does a driveway run through there?
I think the driveway runs along the east side of, kind of that jagged yellow.
Okay.
I think one of the things that made it look like that's where the driveway was.
Yeah.
It shows it.
Oh, yeah, gravel driveway. Yeah, it does. You're right. It follows that and then breaks off at one point. All right, so they'll just be coming in right off the driveway, basically. So, but yeah, there's that. Here's, so the driveway, you're right, runs along this jag and sharing that kind of. I'm thinking, construction, they can come right in. Here's, they got it clear enough to get.
Yeah,
But it doesn't look like much earth movement. It's just gonna be the trees.
yeah.
Really.
And is it before us just because of the size? It's over 1,000 square feet, I guess. Yeah, so,
With the overhang, it's 3,000 something square feet.
okay.
Big.
I wonder if that's even the scale. But, I mean, otherwise. It's trees.
Trees, yeah.
Oh,
It's a slot for campers, my guess.
yeah.
Maybe not, but
Yeah, something. This is a bit, depends which way it's oriented on here. How they're gonna be, it doesn't really matter to us, I'm just.
I would agree with it. Tree removal.
Trees.
Limit the amount of tree removal.
Yep.
You want to try that? It's a neater. It's a neater. It's a limited amount of tree removals because it's a very long building. But
Yeah.
he has like 8 acres, he has like a lot of
Oh,
land that is. not able
yeah,
to be-
we just like to preserve as much of it as we can, and have them not take. Take as little out as they can to get done what they need to get done safely,
Yeah.
There's no water nearby or much ground movement to be made. But yeah, I don't have any other comments on it other than that.
I agree.
Yeah, it should be. Any real major excavation going on.
Mhm. Is it just sitting on a flat?
I-
I mean, it's gotta be,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Or gravel of some sort of base.
Yeah.
I mean, something this size, it's gotta be.
Yeah, you're not gonna not digging down any
No,
depth.
let's capture those as the comments then.
Saying that,
Want to just capture those as the comments then?
yes.
Okay.
I don't know,
What's that?
you can echo it.
The comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the comments are to limit it removal of trees. As little as possible to, safely complete the project. I think that's our only concern really in that one.
And the third
Davis?
one, Davis pole barn. They request approval to construct a 1,496 square feet pole barn with a height of 17 feet. So it is the Davis one I was thinking about.
Oh, where they,
They pull
They
back
had
on
to
this,
scale it back,
yeah,
yeah.
scale it back in order to meet. Not have to do the variance.
Gotcha.
This one.
whole barn straight.
I know, right?
Yes. And this is maybe very similar situation. No driveway or anything to it or gravel path or anything, right? There is gravel.
But nothing like out of the ordinary, just standard.
Mhm. Guess I was gonna look at that.
I think the proposal.
Yeah, so there's I think, no, well, there's a tree maybe, or a couple of trees, right? I think you and I are looking at the same picture. Yeah. It's hard to tell with the shadows there, but it doesn't look like there's much there for trees. Looks very flat. Yep. I tell which way the shadows are going up.
Oh, these ones, right? Close to the building.
It'd be nice if they could have moved it forward more to get it out of the trees, but then it'd be forward of the house. They need that variance, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to trade through.
I mean, I don't know if they consider that, but it's hard to tell the quality of the trees in this picture, but
Probably not.
I'm not gonna propose that they ask for a variance.
Yeah.
But if they did, and they kept those trees. Yeah, no, that's true. But other than that, I don't really have any other comments. It's flat, it's not near water, it's not near anything sensitive, it's not. Easement,
Haven't disrupting anybody's
it's not disrupting anybody's views or. I don't have any other comments.
I don't need to do anything. Thing that John was the fact that they were scaling it back, but I mean.
Yeah.
One more in line with the
Yeah, just. Yeah, just so they didn't have to
code,
ask for
so.
code variance. Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I also, I don't have any comments.
Anything else? Oh, awesome. Go to minutes.
So we have a minute, we have two sets of minutes.
Now,
One
we
from
follow
February
here?
21st. That was the one where we had visitors. It's a very long one.
Yeah,
I think the last time we did full the approval because if you want to review.
It was me,
Was you?
I've since reviewed them, there's no comment, so I'll make a motion to approve the February 21st, 2023.
yep, and I'll second those.
Favor?
Aye.
And that's. So the minutes of February 21st have been passed. We will have the minutes of March 21st. Yeah.
And those also we reviewed and this motion to approve these, unless you guys have any other comments.
No comments. I'll second that motion, Matt.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? So minutes approved for March 21st. Chief, you have anything you want to share?
Just real quickly, the town, we went through our financial audits with Bingle Metzger and R, came in and did our reports and stuff, and we're in good financial footing. So things are good. Nice.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything's good in the town. Cool. A lot going on now, though. It gets to be the season, yeah. So, okay. That's it. Cool.
Excellent.
What is this about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Special package.
Guide.
Yes, Genesee Naturalists. Has to do with.
Full of tidbits for us.
I am
Parks
not
and Rec.
sure. I think they're just lectures.
Sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sharing it with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, signatures not nominated.
Means,
Motion to end the meeting?
A motion. In the meeting.
you gotta be inclusive, we gotta make sure. that
Right?
You get.
I'll second that.
Your voice heard.
Minutes is June at 7:02 PM.
So, very efficient.
Mhm.